All right. Wow, this is kind of crazy. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up.
Wow, there's a lot of people coming through. All right.
I, yeah.
So, we are Gaming Dad News. Okay, I am Rumble19, or you can call me Eric.
And I'm Yoda Kicksler. You can call me Rich.
And, well, it's Gaming Dad News. We're going to talk about anything gaming and gaming information and gaming technology, whatever, gaming related. And, I mean, Yoda, what do you like to play and what you've been playing?
I've been playing Dad Life, and no, I'm kidding. Actually, I've lately been playing some Ghost of Tsushima. I've been playing and trying to learn how to play Apex Legends. I literally learned how to the mantle surfaces for the first time the other night because a viewer said, "Hey, if you hold down the jump button, it'll help you to climb." I never knew that. I've been playing some Battlefront 2 occasionally, Minecraft, golf with your friends, everything kind of like that because I do a lot of streaming with the kids. So yeah. I'm a very, very wild, all over the place gamer. What have you been playing?
So I've been playing a lot of Apex, actually with Banksy himself, and on PC, and then on PlayStation, Last of Us 2. I've been trying that, and a lot of Halo Remastered, the original Halo. So that's what I've been up to recently. So a lot of PC and PlayStation.
Halo Remastered, well, Halo Master Chief Collection, when they first released it on Xbox One, was one of the first co-op games I played with my oldest son. So I'm going to get back into playing the second one with him and a friend. Actually, we're going to restart over with Reach.
Oh, really?
That's going to be exciting. Yeah, because chronologically, I can speak. Words are good. The Reach campaign takes place before the first Halo.
Oh, okay.
We're going to start with that and then jump to 2.
Gotcha.
And see what happens with there.
Yeah, so...
And at any point, everybody, if you have any questions, feel free to just ask the question. Just type question in front of it with a colon. And when we have the moment, we will try to answer your questions.
And, so the docs that we have up, like the topics we're going to be talking about today is, well, Dr. Disrespect. Everybody knows what's going on with him. But, I mean, it's a big topic.
Do we?
Yeah, really. I mean, honestly, no one really knows. Mixer. What's going on with Mixer? And what happened, or what's going on, what we know about it. The MCA. The Universal and Warner attacking everybody on stream. And Apex, well, just what's going on, what we feel, what we think. And new games coming out, at least for this month until the next time we stream or podcast, and then our points on the new console, what we think, the new consoles, and, well, console war. So, cool. You want to take away with Disrespect, or?
You seem to be a little bit better with Disrespect, so I'm going to lean on you for that one. But I have a very important question. Should I wear these for the podcast?
Perfect.
My daughter left them out on the desk because she streamed me earlier and she had to put on her cool shades and they helped her to read better. But yeah, no, I think I'll pass on wearing them.
All right. Well, so Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch all of a sudden. As of right now, no one knows what's going on. And from what he has said, he has no idea what's going on. And so far, the official Twitch statement was, as is our process, we take appropriate action when we have evidence that a streamer has acted in violation of our community guidelines or terms of service. These apply to all streamers regardless of status and prominence in the community. Now, what is just crazy is this guy has no idea why he's been banned. Even in interviews with the Washington Post, he said that he's just using it as a vacation, but this is their livelihood. So,
yeah, well, I think he's made enough money that he could stand to take some time off, even if he was waiting to figure out what he wants to do, because he makes a good bit of change.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just signed an eight-figure contract or whatever. Like,
yeah, I don't think he's hurting.
No, I don't think so either.
The unknown nature of what's going on for him is probably the most frustrating part. If what he says is to be believed, that he still doesn't know why he was banned, but the fact that it's still not public knowledge and everything's hush-hush is just kind of like, there's something going on here, whether it's the recourse. Yeah. Who knows? Because I know he kind of got in trouble at the Twitch convention by taking a camera into the bathroom and filming in there, and I know that kind of didn't sit well with a lot of other streamers or the administration. So
yeah, I mean, it's not his first ban, and if it probably wouldn't be his last one, and now he's been banned and no one knows what's going on. It's kind of crazy. So either they found something out that he's hiding, or who knows, you know.
Yeah. So we'll keep you posted as we find out more. Hopefully by the time the next podcast episode comes out, we'll be able to share more details, because yeah, it's just kind of crazy because nobody knows, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. You want to take on the Mixer?
Sure. I feel really bad because I know quite a few communities that were very heavy into Mixer. A good friend of mine from Mulehorn Gaming, they made a switch to Twitch a few months ago when I met them. And they are so glad they did at the time, because they still had a lot of other friends that were streaming on Mixer that really enjoyed the content and the community and kind of like the Mixer stickers. I was actually thinking about adding those to my stream. But some of the opportunities there and the connections that you could have with Mixer were great. Like they had team streaming for non-Mixer partners before Twitch even had it, and now Twitch hides theirs behind the partner side. And the fact that Microsoft just went, hey, by the way, we're cutting this off now, here's your notice, you're not being warned that it's going to happen, it's just going to happen. It's just kind of disheartening that they took that approach. They almost pulled a Google with that one, because Google has a tendency to say, hey, by the way, we're retiring this product. Microsoft typically hasn't taken that approach, so it kind of was a little disheartening. But maybe they're just trying to trim the fat to see where they can improve things moving forward as a company. But I think the messaging was very poor. Only the big multi-mega million partners that they had with Shroud and Ninja were given any sorts of heads up, and that was only like days before it happened. And they of course got their mega payouts instead of going to Facebook gaming, which, speaking of Facebook gaming, I'm still not a fan of that. I do not like the idea of when you try to follow somebody on Facebook gaming, it doesn't do things the way it should. It removes the ability for you to kind of have a online persona to be able to support your favorite content creator without them having your personal name. So in order to be able to follow anybody in general, you have to go through this whole hoopla of setting up a creator account and then making sure you follow the stream appropriately so that way it doesn't link to your name. And I'm not a fan of that.
Nah,
what do you think?
It seems like they just dropped the ball on this whole thing. I mean, to be honest, there's only four big streaming companies. One was Facebook, you have Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube. Not a lot of people stream right to YouTube, and not a lot of people stream right to Facebook. So you had Twitch and Mixer, but it's kind of one of the things they just dropped the ball on people and no one knew about it.
Yeah, it was just handled poorly, and now like people are also pushing towards Trovo, which is very, very in beta, and it seems like most of the support stuff they're all fellow content creators, because there's no real tools yet. Like I set up my Streamlabs to stream to Trovo as a test, but there's no way to get your chat into Trovo. There's no way to have alerts or notifications. So it's very, very in its infancy.
Yeah.
Whereas like YouTube is probably a little more fully featured than Trovo. Actually, I shouldn't say a little more. It's a lot more fully featured. Facebook, some people say they have success with it and they get a lot more traction because Facebook is really trying to push it. They've been doing a lot of booster post kind of stuff to make you more discoverable.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of interesting from that aspect. But just in general, Twitch seems to have the most eyeballs. And I think it's going to continue to be that way until some of the tools for these other competing things can catch up. Like I knew I had some people who were streaming on Mixer, but I always forgot to go there because it just doesn't have the same discoverability or the same connections. But on the flip side, Twitch's discoverability is pretty bad, and you kind of have to really rely on networking, whether it be Discord, Twitter, Instagram, to kind of boost yourself out there.
Yeah, it seems like Twitch, you need to use everything at your disposal just to get your name out there. But recently, I've noticed if you go through browse and you click on a game, it brings up lower count viewer people right at first, but that could be also because I have it set to just started. So their discoverability for probably better content in some of my what I've been seeing than these big name people who just play and don't chat and don't talk to some of their viewers. But who knows? I mean, Mixer.
Yeah, well, I think they've had a lot of complaints probably about how the discoverability for Twitch is not where it should be, and maybe they're seeing this as an opportunity to kind of push growth. But we'll see.
Yeah, because as of right now, I mean, if you were on Mixer, you're streaming right to Facebook. So you kind of had no choice in that matter. And now, what do? I mean, Ninja went right to YouTube. Shroud is waiting to figure out what's going on, I believe that's what's happening. And then, or Twitch. And if you had a following in all these other places, you still got to grind to get that affiliate status anymore. Which is, I guess if you got a bigger name, it's no big deal. But if you were on Mixer and you weren't a big name and you come to Twitch, now you're going to realize how hard it actually is to reach that affiliate status.
But I have to say that I think a lot of the Mixer refugees actually had a leg up over some of us other smaller streamers, because a lot of people had empathy towards those Mixer refugees, and they actually actively went out to support the people who came over. Because like there's a guy that was on Mixer, Dad Got Game TV. He was on Mixer. I think he was partnered on Mixer. He came to Twitch and he hit like 1,500 subs in his first month.
Oh,
and
man.
He literally just signed on with AverMedia to be one of their new partners or new creators. So he's gotten a lot of traction that way, because it really seems like if you had a good setup or a good following on Mixer, you got a lot more active support from sympathetic Twitch streamers and fellow Mixer refugees. I think people gave more precedence towards that. And another thing, just in general with like Twitch, I think some of the discoverability and the uptick in affiliates has also impacted existing streamers. Like for a little while, I don't know if you noticed it, but you could occasionally get what's called transcoding on Twitch, where if you streamed at 1080p, it allowed you to, somebody could actually change their settings to watch you at 480p or 720p, so that way they could view you when they had a worse connection or they were at work on their smartphones. I actually had a few people on stream who, like, they couldn't watch me. They would get just a black screen because their internet connection was poor from their work location. And with the uptick of the newer affiliates, because everybody's able to help give extra tabs or eyeballs to people grinding for affiliate due to the COVID-19 situation, because a lot of people are either out of work, you see there are a lot more streamers out there all trying to chase a piece of the pie. And it's not the worst thing because not every streamer is going to be for every person. But between the mixer shutdown and COVID-19, discoverability on Twitch has decreased.
Yeah, it's like a perfect storm.
Yeah, that's where Trovo seems to be another one of those refugee places. Like I know a streamer who tried to do it on Twitch, but the effort to try to get any traction to grind, I can speak well, for affiliate on Twitch required him to step out of his comfort zone to do more Twitter, more Discord interaction, just in general, when all he really wanted to do was be able to play games and talk to his stream. He didn't want to have to go in and do the networking. He's loving Trovo because it allows him to just play the games, and because he's one of the earlier people on Trovo, he's able to get a little traction in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Twitch is just going to keep growing and grow until something comes, and it's just an easier way to. Hate to say it, some other people might find it as an easier way to get money or money grab. And
that is definitely a possibility. So we'll kind of see. I'm kind of indifferent. I have a Trovo account. I snagged it so that way I could have Yoda kicks in different places before somebody else tried to get it. If I ever get that big, which I don't have any grand illusions of that, but I just wanted to have something to be safe.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
That makes plenty of sense. You want to talk about DMCAs? If no one knows what that means. DMCA,
copyright. Yeah, Digital Media Copyright Act. It's
probably the
crap.
Probably the worst thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, and let me do a correction. It's Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And it just seemed like they were recently making a change to be a little more aggressive to prevent people from streaming and using their music in the content that's being out there. So they were originally muting parts of streams, which was one thing. So if you ever went to somebody's on-demand recording for Twitch, certain sections would be muted out. I had it happen for a Twitch Sings stream, which it shouldn't have had that problem. And then I had it once while I was actually playing Rock Band on stream. So I don't even use music on my streams because of that.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to deal with it. Which then there are several people out there who were kind of irritated by it. I know Pretzel Rocks is one of those music services out there that people have used so that they can have an alternative for it. Paris Heller's put out several different Spotify playlists that are completely royalty free. Stream Beats,
yep.
EDM. There are several really nice ones that he's put out. Stream Beats is a little kind of too mellow at times. It's probably better for just chatting.
It'll put you to sleep.
Yeah, whereas their EDM and a couple others actually work really well. And I know N64 Josh is another guy who has been doing music creation on stream and then releasing his music as copyright free as well. So there are ways around it. And some people have actually gone to the extreme lengths of creating DMCA okay Spotify playlists for music artists that have said, yes, we're okay with you playing our music on stream. But I listened to it to kind of have an idea of what it was, and it's like full of profanity. So I was like, I can't even use it if I wanted to, because every single song was marked explicit. And I'm like, okay, I'll pass. And it's not that I'm like super
that's
weird about this stuff. It's just I couldn't do it.
That's the crazy part is most of these artists want you to play their music on stream. And a lot of it's like the labels, Universal and Warner, but I think Banksy knows an artist who actually had all his music copyright free. I don't even know. Some rapper that he found.
Yeah, I know. Like my son found the guy Monster Cat, and he's actually considering subscribing to it, or he's suggesting that I do it, because a lot of their music, if you do a subscription, you can use it royalty free on your streams. You don't even have to worry about it. But it's just, I don't use music. I just use my voice to kind of cover any dead spots, whether I'm talking to myself and people think I'm crazy. Thank you for that, Banksy.
Bazanji. Yeah, the crazy part, which is I was talking to Banksy about the other night, is there's a whole music section on Twitch, and they have like what do you say, clips of songs that they're using for their music, which makes no sense to me how they're not being striked. I mean, they're doing clips of songs from, and they're just little scratches here and there or whatever, but who knows.
Awesome, Banksy. Thanks for sharing those details. Basically, Banksy said that he explicitly came out after Banksy tweeted at him, and he said that you can play his music without fear of any Twitch strikes. He's about supporting content creators, and Banksy added, he's awesome. So I'll have to go check him out and see what he's all about. So thank you for sharing those details, Banksy. Oh, sweet, Murky. Thank you for that. So Murky Water says he has millions of plays on Spotify too, so he's not some little guy that's just trying to clout chase. Well, I'm adding the clout chase. But he's not just some little guy out there saying, hey, play my music because I don't care. So that's awesome.
Anything else you got on this topic? Anything you want to...
I think we've said enough.
You don't want to attack anybody else?
No, I'm good.
Right.
We've got Banksy and Murky vouching for Bazanji. I mentioned Harris Heller, and I mentioned N64 Josh. I think we should be good for now. We can move on.
All right. Here's a big topic for everybody. Apex Legends.
I'm definitely going to defer to you on that one.
All right, so everybody's been playing this for a while now. After the whole split and everything with the mobile respawn beacons, the limited time mode that everybody played, the running and gunning, or the what the heck was it called? Armed and Dangerous. So
yeah, that was a weird mode.
That's a fun mode. I like that mode. It's tough though when you don't have heals. That's very tough. Yes. But so the mobile respawn beacons from that game are now in regular gameplay as of the latest update, which was last Tuesday or 2 Tuesdays ago. And so now you can, which is nice, but it takes freaking forever to use. I don't know if you had to use one of them yet, but
I've used it once. But I like the idea of it because now you don't have to worry so much about trying to make it to a respawn tower and having to like check all your corners before you call one in.
Yeah,
it gives you a better chance.
It is nice.
I know yawning on stream. You're supposed to be caffeinated before you come, but
I know. We have the Crypto Town takeover. The Crypto Town takeover on Kings Canyon, which is really sweet when you get to use the freaking radar scan. That's freaking awesome because then you could see everybody on the map in that room. That's over by Repulsor. Or, well, what was left of Repulsor. Everybody knows the heirloom, which everybody can never get for some reason. The Mirage trophy. Someone said it's a pork chop too, or it turns into a pork chop. Not quite sure. I don't have it. I finally got an heirloom on PS4, but now it's going to be crossplay. And I'd like to play on the PC, but here or there at this point.
I wish it would cross progress. That's the one thing that's disappointing, like Call of Duty is, like Destiny.
Yeah.
The fact that it's not going to be cross progress means that if you have stuff unlocked on a certain platform, it's locked to that platform. So you have to really pick where you want to spend your money for the season passes and where you want to make progress. So that's the only disappointing part about that news for me.
Yeah, it's definitely I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not happy with it. But then again, if you think about it now, you could start fresh somewhere else. But like, for crying out loud, I'm playing with the Banksy, and he has 3 freaking accounts. He tried to drop a 20 bomb. That didn't work out too well. So there's a lot of updates on all the characters. We don't need to really go into it. Everybody knows what's going on. Lifeline has a tactical where she can use her drone to heal somebody or revive somebody, and then the drone itself brings up a shield, and she can walk away and kill people or whatever. Octane, double jump. Everybody can double jump off the jump pad, so that's great. Revenant, his ultimate has no range, so now you can be in totem pretty freaking far, but then there is a time limit, so the moment you start battle and you realize your time starts to dwindle, it's about useless. You might as well just try to kill yourself, or you're gonna be low on health. Yeah. Crypto's now disables Watson's pylons, which is nice, although Crypto is kind of like not a really well used character. I don't like using them, but that's here nor there. Let's see, Mirage can just control your decoys, which is pretty cool, and then you go invisible when you heal somebody, and you go invisible when you go to bring someone back when you do the respawn beacon, which is nice. Oh, and if you skydive out of sky with your whole team and you decoy, it decoys the whole team, not just yourself.
Cool.
Yeah, it's great if you know how to use it.
So I shouldn't use it, is what you're saying.
Well, no, you just want to hope that your whole team stays with you, but a lot of people just pan off. I mean, as you should towards the end, that way everybody doesn't loot the same building. But
or if you're running with Banksy, who's like a loot goblin and just grabs everything. Oh, I'm sorry, Banksy.
Oh man, I didn't say that. Zip lines are now about useless. So Pathfinder's about useless. Because it takes them forever to use it. Like the cooldowns. Cooldowns a lot. That's all I got to say. You can't like hop around off of a zip line when you take one. You can't, bunny hop off of a zip line and only do it 2 times. The Havoc is garbage now. What else is new? Sentinel, you can use just a shield battery, or shield cell, not just a battery. But everybody probably knows that one as well. But I stopped using that gun because it's very slow to use. Trying to see if there's anything else. I mean, the map rotation, now we're on World's Edge for ranked, which I don't like World's Edge. They broke my Havoc. Your Havoc was garbage to begin with. Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, if anybody's played the story mode of the game, it's how can I say it? The story mode's crazy because you're finding a lot out for the next season, but now you gotta wait a lot or you gotta wait 2 or 3 weeks till the next hint of what's going on for the next season.
Yeah. So are there any other really important bug fixes for Apex that you think should be mentioned?
Well, the Wraith, her new outfit or cosmetic, that's fixed. I mean, the hitboxes on that thing was ridiculous. There was no basically hitbox on her. So, but now that's fixed. That was the biggest problem. Other than that, yeah, it says fixed issues with the Marble Goddess skin not having the correct hitbox, but that's now fixed. So, I mean, that was a big one. But as of right now, that's a lot of it right there that I know of. But
And it's all love, Banksy. We're just messing with you. All right, so we've got some upcoming and new games and recent releases to discuss. Let's take a look real quick. I have not, and I don't know when I'll ever actually get a chance to touch Death Stranding, which just came to PC on the 14th of July. Rocket Arena is something I'm actually intrigued by. I thought about signing up for the Origin Premier access to be able to play it without actually having to spend $30 on it, because I have a tendency to sometimes buy games because they look shiny and then I don't touch them and they kind of just sit there gathering dust for a long time. So I want to do what I can to digital dust to avoid that. I have another streamer friend who plays a lot of NASCAR Heat on stream, and he actually was sent a code for Rocket Arena for free, so it's kind of cool. So that's it about there. It just seems like it's a lot of rocket jumping and flying around combat with slow moving rockets, but it does look pretty interesting, so I might have to give it a shot. Paper Mario, I really want to check out that game, but I know it does not fit into my gaming lifestyle in general. It is what it is. I love Paper Mario games, but with most RPGs in general, I just really struggle to focus on them. And thank you, Snake Neil, for the compliment on the beards. I trimmed mine up a little bit. Warhammer 40,000, I can't really speak much to that.
Oh, so you never
been playing it a lot, so I will let you talk to that one.
Oh, so Warhammer is just an RTS. I don't know if anybody's played an RTS. Have you ever played like Command and Conquer?
I played Command and Conquer. I was more of a Warcraft fan.
Oh, okay.
The very first Warcraft, I played that, and I used to love clicking on the units because every time you would click on them, it would say a different statement, and one of them would be like, "Stop that incessant clicking," if you click too many times on it. So I always loved the humor that Blizzard put into stuff. So when they came out with World of Warcraft a long time ago, I was really pumped. I even bought like the first collector's edition. But I digress. We'll go back to RTS games. Yes, I have played RTS games.
Well, it's really all that is. I mean, I have downloaded when they were, I think there was a deal or they were free. So I have Warhammer as not this version, but all the other ones. Or maybe is this version, because this one's on PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. And that came out, 2 days ago. So it might be. But I enjoyed it.
Nice, Just Ghost. You'll have to give us a report on how it is.
And so far, I enjoyed it because it's just simple. It's just, you can just goof around and then just click where you want to go as you do it, and then you get attacked. You just click on them. They'll shoot them.
Is it like Halo Wars simple?
Yeah, Halo. That's all it is. I mean, Halo Wars is an RTS game as well. So I mean, it's fun and easy, I think. But
yeah, well, there were different RTS styles. Like there's a really in-depth ones like Warcraft and StarCraft and Command and Conquer, the PC versions, and then they had some attempts to make them simpler for console, like Halo War, Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth, where they simplified the command wheels and the attack wheels to kind of make it easier to play.
Yeah. So we got Ghost of Tsushima, and you play that one. I haven't played that yet.
I love that game.
So is it like, what is it like, Assassin's Creed, or is it like
it's like a mixture of Assassin's Creed with possibly Sekiro, but there's less like flying around doing abilities. Like with Sekiro, you get like a grappling hook, so you can easily scale buildings, and to get the drop in, the bosses are very vicious. The side missions in Ghost of Tsushima, I don't know why I want to keep saying ghost, because there's only one singular ghost. They are very well structured. They have a good story to them. They're not just a random go over here and take out this target or go over here and collect 15 feathers. They actually have a reason behind them, and they unlock different abilities and upgrade your style. Like I literally just unlocked the bow the other night for one of the missions, and I got a new stance so that I can actually take on shielded enemies a little bit better. Because the main stance you get, you have to use your triangle button to attack twice to break a shield of a standard guy to be able to actually damage them. Otherwise, they'll deflect most of your square attacks. With the new stance, it better poises you so your triangle attacks aren't so slow, and you can combo into other things for it. And it's a beautiful game. If you ever get lost, you swipe up on the touchpad and the wind blows on where you're supposed to go, as long as you have a action or a quest selected. And it's just, when you first ride the horse and you go through this flowery field, your character leans over and dips his hands into the flowers, and he just like rubs his fingers on them. It's just such a well-designed game. And I'm so glad I took a chance on it. And it's just, I want to play it some more. So let's end the stream right now. No, I'm kidding.
Have you played Hyperscape?
I played the alpha, or the closed beta, and the open beta, and I'm still not sure if I like it.
So when I watched somebody play this on the stream, it seemed way fast-paced, like really fast-paced.
It is. It's a very fast-paced shooter. There's a lot of, you can double jump, you can clamber upside the buildings, and it's very fast. But the time to kill, I hate it. Like, I'll have a minigun, and I would say my aim is pretty good, and I'll have it trained on a target, and I'll hit them with half a clip or a full clip, and they're still not dead because it doesn't kill them. And I'm like, why isn't this gun killing this person? And then they'll hit me a few times with their gun and I'm dead. And I'm just like, why? It feels really off, and there's a place for it. But I love the Twitch integration. I love the fact that people can actually make progress on their battle pass using just watching other Hyperscape streamers. And if you have the extension, you can actually invite viewers to join you while you're playing, which is really cool. And they can earn, there's also Twitch Prime drops for it. But it's just so weird. I do love the mechanic where if you die, you can go stand on a respawn point, which is basically somebody else's death spot, and your teammate can come revive you. And the Twitch chat integration and the voting, where they can vote for an event like the reveal event where everybody gets exposed so you can see where they are, or the low gravity. It's a well-designed game. I don't know that it's for me.
It seems way too complicated for me.
I don't know that I would say it's complicated. It's just the time to kill feels way off. More than anything, it just feels like it takes forever to down somebody. And I like when I go in and play like a Call of Duty, or I go in and I play Apex. Even I can get kills in Apex, and that's me as a noob because I know my aim is pretty good at these things, so I can do what I do and not be that bad. Even though I don't know the maps, I can still have fun with it. With Hyperscape, I just feel like I'm so behind the curve because I don't like the weapons a lot, and I don't feel like I can drop anybody quick enough to be effective.
Yeah. You ever play... So the next one is Dying Light, Hell Raid. Have you ever played this game?
I own Dying Light, and I have played a couple hours of Dying Light, and I like the premise of being able to craft different items, and the whole, they are scarier and stronger at nighttime, and the co-op. But I know the co-op was kind of weird for the first game, but I still enjoyed my time in it. It's just more than a couple hours.
So this, I don't know if it's an actual, it's not Dying Light 2, I don't know if it's just an add-on to this game, but it's coming out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One on July 23rd. But I've played Dying Light. I played that game. Me and my brother, who was Murky Waters in here, we played this game till the sun came up the next day. I mean, it was fun. I thought I loved it because of the parkour. It felt like Assassin's Creed, but with zombies kind of thing. But I mean, who knows? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here with this game.
Well, it's definitely an expansion from the looks of it.
That's what it seems like. Destroy All Humans. Have you ever played that one?
I have not.
Okay.
I've seen it in the past, but no, I have not played it.
Okay, so Destroy All Humans was a PS2 game, and I believe Xbox. I think it was an Xbox game as well, but it's coming out on PC, PS4, Stadia, and Xbox One on July 28th, and I'm pretty sure no one has a Stadia here. So.
Well, I had a Stadia account when they gave free access, and I just couldn't be bothered to use it.
So Destroy All Humans is you playing as an alien back in the 1950s, and then you just go around picking up things with the UFO, like cows and stuff. Just goofing around. I mean, it's one of those goofy games. It's an old. I think that it's just a remake. I believe that's all it is. So, but
that's good.
Yeah, I mean that's the list till up to our next episode. So. Now the next topic is new console specs and our thoughts. Are they going to be PCs or still going to be just consoles?
I think they'll look closer to like a PC OS. Probably more like, say, Windows 8 did with the tiles.
Yeah.
Where everything's kind of easy to get to quick. You don't have to worry about going into the back end and updating drivers because it's all handled via the OS with baked in. Hopefully that means they can also not have larger firmware updates, but push out smaller patches for the system. If they ever have to update the video driver, it won't require a full firmware. But the nice thing about consoles is that when you buy it, you pretty much know that every game you're going to get is going to play well. You know that if you're going to stream that game, it's going to just work.
It's not going to
have to go in, and you don't have to go to OBS and say, well, if I want to play Apex Legends, I need to set it to this bit rate. I need to change my output resolution to 720p. I need to tilt my head to the left and raise my right foot. So that's the beauty of the consoles, because they just work. But to be honest, I honestly do not see a real reason to get a Series X if you're a PC gamer, because all of Microsoft's exclusives are going to be available to PC users via their Game Pass, which is still the Microsoft ecosystem, and I think that's what they're going to push for more than anything, is to get people on board that Microsoft ecosystem. I was blessed. I got a free code for a year of Game Pass Ultimate, but I also had done the conversion to convert my original Xbox Live Gold to Game Pass Ultimate, because it was like the $1 promotion where you paid $1 to upgrade. So I have Game Pass PC, Game Pass Xbox, and Xbox Live Gold. And now that they've announced that xCloud is going to be available and included with Game Pass subscriptions, it's icing on the cake, because Sony is in currently the command spot with their PS4 because of all the goodwill they built up when Microsoft basically handed them the win during the launch cycle for the PS4 and the Xbox One, when they basically came out, here's how you do a game share, and they hand a disc over to the other person. That was Microsoft's biggest blunder. They were full of themselves and they failed. And they've been building a lot of goodwill since then. They've done a lot of really, really good stuff to try to make up ground for that, but they already had a commanding deficit in the race. Sony destroyed it, and then of course the Switch destroyed them both, but that's another story. But Sony doesn't put their major releases out on the on their streaming service, PlayStation Now. They put some older content, and even the older content that's their titles, it's limited time. So like I think some of their titles that they put on there, like God of War, is only going to be on there until September, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So with their service, you have to be fearful that it's going to go away. Whereas Game Pass on Microsoft's side, they do remove titles, but they kind of warn you when it's going to be removed. But the titles that get removed aren't their exclusives. It's the third-party titles, like when GTA 5 was removed. Actually, no, GTA 5 was... One of them was removed and the other franchise from Rockstar was added. It was basically their way of shifting it out because they had control of the content that was there. So I think unless Microsoft really hammers home some of their content on the 23rd for their event where they're revealing Halo Infinite, Sony's probably still going to have a commanding lead on the console sales for this generation coming up because they own a lot of their really massive franchises like The Last of Us, Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima, and the Infamous series. Naughty Dog with all the Uncharted series and The Last of Us 2.
God of War is the biggest one. I mean, that last God of War basically sold the PlayStation 4 for them.
I would say that the Uncharted series, their partnership with Call of Duty, and the fact that it was $100 cheaper because Microsoft had the bundle Xbox One.
Oh, yeah.
And before Microsoft had the about face with their disc sharing, which now I prefer digital licenses for stuff. But all of that kind of led Sony to kind of jump out to the lead because you could get a cheaper console. It can play games a little bit better because the PS4 was slightly more powerful than the original Xbox One, and you didn't have to worry about disc licenses, which Microsoft changed all that and fixed it, but the damage was already done. They were at that point in damage control mode.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Do you still when did you get your PS4?
I had a PS4 at launch, and I also got an Xbox One right when Titanfall came out, the original Titanfall. I bought the Titanfall Xbox One Connect bundle. And funny story, I used to have the Kicks account on Twitter, and I kept getting asked about it by different people who were trying to use it for sneakers. I ended up giving the account to somebody, and they gave me money that basically funded my Xbox One.
I was wondering because you have the original PS4 launch PS4.
I had the original launch PS4.
Okay.
And then I got rid of it for a while, and then I bought when they had the anniversary gold edition. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
I bought that. And then GameStop had this crazy trade in 3 games, get a 30% bonus, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 7. You got trade in bonuses,
yeah,
up to 70%. So I actually took the gold PS4 back to Best Buy and bought a bunch of games with it. Took those games to GameStop and traded them all in and funded a PS4 Pro. So I have a PS4 Pro for the price of a PS4 Slim.
So the reason I was asking because I have the OG PS4 and it still runs and it still puts out the same performance, other than the fact that it sounds like a jet engine every time I try to run a newer game.
Yeah, because like if you were to look at the power levels of things, it was original Xbox One, then the PS4. Then the Xbox One S kind of got closer to the PS4, and then the PS4 Pro, and then the One X. So they definitely have put in a bunch of content to kind of try to make it more competitive. The problem is, for each of them, you still have to make sure your games run well on the lowest common denominator. So Xbox ended up getting, unless somebody put out a specific patch to make it Xbox One enhanced or a PS4 Pro patch, the games didn't necessarily run that much better on the consoles, other than loading faster because of the slightly faster hard drives, or possibly having super sampling, so that way it kind of refined the images a little bit to make them a little bit prettier.
Yeah. Okay, why don't I go over the PS5, the hardware that's in it, and then you can go over the Xbox. So as of right now, the PS5 CPU is an 8 times Zen 2 cores. Oh, it's a 2 core at 3.5 gigahertz, but it says variable frequency. The GPU is at 10.28 teraflops, 36 CUDA core. What is that? CUDA core or CUs at 2.23 gigahertz. That's a variable frequency as well. GPU architect is a custom RDNA2. Memory interface is 16 gigabytes GDDR6 at 256 bits. Memory bandwidth is 448 gigabytes. And internal storage is a custom 8.25 gigabyte SSD. I don't know if you'll be able to change that out, but I mean, it doesn't seem.
Yeah, they haven't officially released details on that, but I have a feeling that they still will all support external hard drives, because there's no reason for it not to. But I know it looked like with the Xbox Series X, they were going to have these external hard drive cartridges that you could buy to slap in. Kind of reminds me of the Dreamcast VMUs.
Yeah. Your I/O throughput is 5.5 gigabytes raw, but typical is 8 to 9 gigabytes compressed. And then expanded storage, you got an NVMe SSD slot, which I'm hoping will be the same as what you put in a PC. But to be honest, who knows still at this point. External storage is USB, HDD, hard drive support. That's all that is. An optical drive if you want, because that's an option. That, or you can buy digital only, which I believe most people are doing anyway anymore. The optical drive's a 4K Blu-ray drive, but like I said, most people are just streaming movies, or they're just or they're downloading their games anymore. So I don't know how much an optical drive will be worth, but I mean, it's probably going to cost you more anyway. The other problem is when you go to games anymore, when you download them, they have it takes up so much storage. For crying out loud, I had to get a 4 terabyte hard drive just to put more games on my PlayStation. So, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
At this point, because most games anymore, you're not really playing games off the disc. You're just taking the storage that's on the disc and putting it on the console itself anymore. So I don't know what's the point of having an optical drive.
Well, it allows people who don't necessarily have a good internet connection to still purchase the games and have a faster way of downloading it. Like if you have a really bad internet connection where you live, you don't want, or you're metered, you don't want to have to download 80 gigs of storage over your internet connection, because then it would cap out your monthly allowance for your internet provider.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's where the optical versions will come into play. Because unless you pre-order digital and have it already preloaded, it's going to be less taxing on your resources for that. It would be interesting to know to see if they're going to allow internal replacement, because I know some of the systems these days, like the Xbox One, currently doesn't have internal storage replacement, but people have found out ways to do it themselves. It basically voids the warranty, but yes, it can be done. I have a feeling they're going to really push some NVMe USB externals, which are going to be even more expensive, so they need to get the cost of that down.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be interesting, because that 825 gigs of storage, it's custom with their own little I/O interface for it. It's only going to hold about 9 to 10 games.
Yeah.
And that's like 3 Call of Duty patches.
Yeah, really. Especially after this last update.
Yeah, I have to, like, if I ever think about playing Call of Duty over the course of the week, I have to fire it up just to make sure it's patched because I don't want to go, oh, I'm going to switch to Call of Duty now. Oh, sorry, 45 gig patch. Well, let's play something else. But at least the PS5 will now have a 4K drive, whereas the PS4 Pro, you couldn't play any 4K movies unless they were digital because for some reason it didn't have a 4K Blu-ray.
I mean,
it only supported 1080p discs.
So what I'm thinking is the CPU and the GPU is being run by AMD, or they're AMD chips. So I'm gonna say that PS5s can be running pretty good. I don't know if they're gonna. We'll see what the Xbox has.
Well, the Xbox has an 8 Zen 2 cores at 3.8 gigahertz. I still need to kind of understand what SMT is, but they run at 3.6 gigahertz with SMT. It has a 12 teraflop GPU with 52 computing units at 1.825 gigahertz. So it's a slightly slower speed, but it's got a custom interface for how it communicates with the system, so it is able to make up for it. I know they included the die size, which is 360.45 millimeters. Most people don't really care about that. These are really, really technical. It's going to have 16 gigs of RAM, GDDR6, so they're on equal footing this time, whereas the PS4 had faster RAM than the Xbox One. Whereas the Xbox One had slower RAM, but it also had ESRAM to kind of bridge the gap. But most developers didn't use it, so it was left unused a lot. It's going to have these 2.4 gigabytes of I/O throughput from the hard drive on the raw. So it seems like it's a little bit slower on the raw, but it jumps up to 6 gigs at 336 gigabits per second on the higher end side. Sorry, I just jumped back to the RAM. I apologize. Up to 4.8 gigabytes per second on the I/O throughput, which is still lower than the PlayStation's. But it's still... That means they're going to be trying to shove that much texture at a time. The edge goes to Sony, but I don't think it will be noticeable enough to actually do any real noticeable differences. Because a lot of it's going to fall on the memory bandwidth and the CPU calculations when it actually renders everything. It supports what's called expandable storage, where there are 1 terabyte expansion cards. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of it where it's got the slots on the back. That's where I gave the VMU comparison for it, where you kind of you slide this cartridge into the back to get yourself an additional terabyte of storage. There will be no exclusives, but Microsoft does technically have exclusives with its different franchises. They're just available on PC and Xbox. They're not going to be Xbox only or PC only.
Yeah.
So that's where Microsoft is more about their ecosystem, and that's the beauty where they have themselves set up, where if you have an Xbox One or a mobile device, or you have an Xbox Series X, your subscription will cover all of that. And if you've got Game Pass, you'll be able to play them on your PC, on your phone, on your tablet, or on your console. They don't care where you play it, just that you buy into their ecosystem. And I will tell you, like, I have an Android phone that I don't have on a service, but I've played Gears of War 4 streaming it to my mobile phone with it clipped onto a controller mount. I actually have a little controller mount right here. You might not be able to see it, but I have played it. I'm waiting to get on the iOS beta so I can do it on the phone. So that's kind of where they're at. They just want you to buy into their ecosystem, and at $15 a month you get Game Pass PC Gold and all that. Whereas with Sony, you've got PS Plus, and then you've got PS Now, but PS Now doesn't have all their category.
Yeah.
But Sony is going to end up being where a lot of people are going to go to because of the exclusives. And that's just how it is. You can't deny it. Their exclusives currently are better than Microsoft's. Yes,
These guys.
you can. I know. I see Just Ghost and Banksy talking up the Xbox. I love my Xbox. I love Xbox Live more than PlayStation Plus. I've always had. I hate the way PlayStation Plus has the whole invite system and their party. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
It's such a no, I don't. And also when it comes to streaming, Sony makes it a little more painful.
Sony makes it their own. That's the problem I have with it.
Yeah, well, like when you do the streaming from the PlayStation 4, if you want to include party chat, or if you want to use your capture card for your PlayStation audio to go through it, the moment you plug a headset into your controller,
it takes all the audio away.
Yep. The HDMI out. So then you have to buy a
splitter.
Chat cable.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just a pain. And
well, that's
it is what it is.
Yeah, I use so this is how I get around it. I Streamlab my audio through my headset, and I have a spare camera for the PlayStation as I use for my microphone, so that people can hear me, so I can hear myself when I stream. It's a little pain in the ass, but it is what it is. I don't know why they do it that way.
Yeah, well, I use my Xbox reward points because I do a lot of the Bing searches, and I'm in Bing rewards. So I used it to get an Amazon gift card, and I ordered myself the party chat cable so I could stream on the PS4 and still have my party chat.
It works.
So yeah, it is what it is. But I really like the Xbox Live interface. I like the analog stick offset on the Xbox One controllers. I like the fact that with the new controllers, they're not really changing too much. I do have the DualShocks, but I'm not a fan of the lined up sticks. I don't like it. I don't like playing like this.
I'm so used to
playing like this.
I'm so used to playing like that, you know?
Yeah.
But I've been playing it since PlayStation 1. That's the thing. So I don't, even before they had analogs.
This is how you give a thumbs up.
Yeah.
You go thumbs up like this, whereas Xbox players do thumbs up like this.
Nah, I can't. I mean, this is how I see it. They're both having ray tracing on theirs, and they're both having almost zero load times. So it comes down to the exclusives. Like you said, it comes down to the exclusives.
Yep, and everything's pushing cross-play now, so it's going to be less and less about having to get one to play with friends.
Yeah.
You can now play with your friends wherever because everybody's kind of pushing towards that. Like, I can't wait for Destiny to go cross-play because there are people that I could play with on Xbox where now, since my son made me switch to PC for Destiny 2, I haven't been able to play.
Here's also the thing I feel is, like, crossplay should have been a thing to start as console. But the problem is they do console wars every few years. So
yeah, well, see, let's put it in perspective. When Microsoft was in the lead, Sony was pushing crossplay. Portal 2, I played Portal 2 on my PlayStation 4 with my friend who was playing it on his PC with Steam because Sony wasn't in the lead position on the PlayStation 3. So then when they took the lead and they bought the rights to be the primary partner with Activision for Call of Duty, they had a commanding lead. They didn't need crossplay anymore. And then Microsoft took on the stance of going, hey, crossplay is great. Let's play everywhere. You can now play Minecraft on your Switch with Xbox players. You can play it with mobile. They started pushing that because they wanted to push innovation and get goodwill again. And then it made Sony look bad in everybody's eyes because Sony was the roadblock for Fortnite. And Fortnite went out and did their own little test by turning it on accident so that people could actually try it when it wasn't really an accident. They knew what they were doing. They basically wanted to show Sony that they needed to get their game together and open it up And then that's why Call of Duty had such a big push for crossplay. It's because they were pressured. They were the bully in the situation, whereas before it was Microsoft. But I like when there isn't, like when somebody's in second place, because that second place group, they are very motivated to do well. And then there's just Nintendo. They don't care. If you want to chat with somebody and then switch for some games, you have to use a mobile app on your phone.
Oh, Nintendo. It is what I mean. Even if you mention something on Nintendo, sometimes on YouTube, like something with their console and games, you
can get a copyright strike.
It's crazy. But
yeah, I heard somebody got copyright strike because they were co-streaming the Nintendo Minute, and they were basically commenting on it, and they got copyright strike. But hey, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But no, I'm actually really excited for the generation because it's going to introduce console players to faster load times. Because like when I go back to play Destiny on Xbox, I hate how long it takes to load into a mission. I go to PC and I'm playing. I go to Xbox and I could go get myself a cup of coffee, make a sandwich, use the restroom, and then it might be loaded. So these newer consoles with the faster NVMe hard drives, I don't even have an NVMe drive in my PC. I have SSD, but it's going to make a huge improvement for them, and I can't wait, because then everybody will be on more equal footing for load times and performance. You buy the console and it just works. You install the game and it plays. You don't have to worry about patches as much, or you don't have to worry about OS updates, like this most recent OS update 2004, breaking things. You don't have to worry about having too many USB devices plugged in causing some to not have enough power, or your camera to flake out. I actually had a webcam not work because I had 7 devices plugged in.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so it's with the consoles, they just work. And that's what it is. Like even with Xbox, they because they weren't the lead dog and they eliminated the Kinect, they made it so you could use any webcam. Sony's like, no, you still have to buy our stream camera if you want to be able to use a webcam on our console.
Yep. Yeah, so here's my thing is, if the consoles are still basically cheaper to run just as good than to build your own PC, let alone buy one,
Yes, Just Ghost.
No, yeah.
He said no yawning. You need to stop the yawning.
I need to stop I know. I was up late last night a little bit. Just a little bit. I
don't want to hear it.
But that's how I feel. I mean, so it's going to get to the point where, at what point are these a PC? And I mean, they're pretty much close. It's a PC in a small box, but cheaper. And it runs almost just as good with hopefully no issues.
But the thing is, they're going to have these really powerful machines, and they're going to be hooked up to these TVs, but most of the TVs are going to have lower refresh rates than most of these gaming monitors.
Yep.
Like, a lot of TVs are at 24 frames per second. Some of them are 30 to 60. A lot of them claim 240 hertz, but it's all superficial and back-end mumbo-jumbo where they're not really actually outputting at 240 hertz. Whereas if you buy a computer monitor that says it's 144 hertz, you can push that. And the game consoles are going to be pushing 60 frames per second for most stuff. So
yeah,
PCs are still going to be where it's at, but the gap is going to be closer and closer. I still think in the long run, Microsoft has the right idea of pushing things more as a service versus consoles. They have made their entire shift to go towards people buying into the ecosystem, whereas Sony is still about the set-top box. So we're going to start to see a shift this next generation away from possible home consoles. That's why Stadia, if it was marketed properly and they actually knew what they were doing when they announced it, it could have been a good stopgap, because think about it, you're buying a Stadia kit for 160 bucks. It comes with a controller. You can play it on your browser, but they didn't do it right. Their marketing was off. Most of the details weren't good, and it was poor. They brought the wrong person in to be their head. He already failed once at Sony during the PS3 age, and he's going to cause them to fail. So, I digress. I'm very much a tech enthusiast and a video game enthusiast. I don't subscribe to console wars because I like playing games. If there's a console that has a good game on it and it's good enough that it makes me want to consider it, I will figure out a way to save up and pay for it. Yeah. I'm not going to go into debt to buy any of these consoles, so I probably won't have either at launch, but I will evaluate all my options and say, you know what, every single Xbox One game or Xbox Series X game will play on my PC. I already have a PC. There's no reason for me to get a Series X. If it turns out that my PC becomes too expensive to maintain because my little old 1660 Ti is getting a little long in the tooth, then I will consider a Series X at that point. The PlayStation 5, if there's a really awesome trade-in promotion where I could trade in my PS4 Pro towards one to get it for a lot cheaper, I'd consider doing that, because as long as I can play all my PlayStation 4 games on it, I'm not losing out on something. I'm keeping what I have and growing with it.
Yeah, I don't feel like the PlayStation 4 is going to go away anytime soon.
No,
it's probably,
especially with all the COVID stuff, and like there's going to be manufacturing issues. Words are hard. So the supply isn't going to be that great. The technology is still being learned. Every console comes to like its full potential within the first 2 to 3 years when you start to see them pushed.
Yep.
And that's when the PCs will start getting pushed, because the consoles are better. Developers are starting to develop for the higher end consoles and phasing out the PS4 and Xbox One stuff. Because you could tell the difference when the 360 and the PS3 games started to fall off of development. It became a lot more... The games became a lot more advanced because they didn't have to program down. And until the Wii died, there were still games that were held back by Wii development.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a good potential for things moving forward. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, the PC, like I said, PS4 probably ain't going to go away anytime soon, and the Xbox One probably, as long as you don't have the original PS or Xbox One, I mean, as of right now, the consoles are just great as what we got right now.
Absolutely.
And if you have a PC, more power to you. I mean, the PCs are just phenomenal with the technology we got for PC. The parts are crazy. But granted, they're very expensive. Very expensive. But
yeah, like I know somebody who upgraded to a 2080 Super TI-SC, and his old card was just a different version of a 2080, and you could buy that old card for like $1,500. I'm like, no, I'm good.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's one of those things where it is what it is. I mean, I just upgraded mine. I used my Texas hunting money because of this COVID, so that's where I'm at, you know? Well, I mean, what else we got to talk about here, pal?
No, we just need to basically
the outro.
Say where they can find us and tell everybody good night and thanks for coming out.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can find me at Rumble19_ on Twitch, and on Twitter I believe it's just Rumble19. Where can we find...
I don't have that command set up.
That's fine. But that's it right there. Just type that in Twitch, you'll find me. And then hi. We also can follow you at Yoda Kicks right?
That is correct.
And
So are you Rumble19 underscore on Twitter?
I think it's just Rumble19. Believe it is.
Alrighty then. Well, how about you type that?
Yeah, let me.
You're supposed to know it. No, it's Rumble19 underscore. I had
Oh,
it
it
right.
is. You are right. I don't know what I'm. Sorry, I'm just.
You must be tired. So I'll do the outro. So that is Eric, aka Rumble19, or Rumble19, aka Eric. You can find him on Twitter at Rumble19 underscore. You can find him on Twitch at Rumble19 underscore. I am Yoda Kicks, aka Rich. You can find me on Twitter at Yoda Kicks, or you can find me on Twitch, Yoda Kicks. And we're also going to have all this is going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel. We're going to get all the commands set up for it so it will just work. We're going to have the podcast available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Everybody Podcasts, wherever there's a podcast.
It should be on there.
So we appreciate everybody coming out in full force to support us for our first podcast. At this time, because I didn't think to do it earlier, does anybody have any questions for us or anything you want us to answer for you?
Any questions at all? I mean, it is called Gaming Dad News, so we're obviously dads. But I will tell you, if you guys have any questions about PC, PS4, Xbox, Switch, I mean, we do play them. Podcast, let me know which podcast service. Yes, so Mama Bear is my wife, and she was the one to help me get this on podcast platforms. So let me know if you guys need it. How much do I like the Xbox? Okay, so here's my thing with the Xbox. Hold on. What does Big Red say? Anyone you're going to bring on in the future? As of right now, we haven't asked anybody, but we will probably talk about it later.
Big Red, we do plan on at some point having guests on, whether we do them as kind of community spotlights or just to bring in additional insight. There's a couple of names that we've thought about, and I think we're going to possibly set up a feedback so that way you can actually email suggestions or questions to us, so that way we can get back to you that way. You can also actually reach us at gamingdadnews@gmail.com. You can reach us on Twitter at gamingdadnews. Should have done Twitter for that one.
That's fine.
So there we go.
Yes, podcast will always be on a Sunday. Every other Sunday, we were planning to do this podcast. So,
correct.
That because there's just not enough news to constantly do every week. So, and Ghost. So, how much do I like the Xbox? So, the story about me and Xbox. I do not have a hard time with Xbox. I loved Xbox One. I loved Xbox 360. So the only reason I loved so my parents were divorced, and on my dad's side I had Xbox, my mom's side I had PlayStation, and that's just how it was. And Xbox 360 was the last console I had, and the last game I played on there was Halo 3. So that's the last Xbox game I've played until Halo Master Chief Collection, which is on the PC. So that's the last. I don't have a problem with Xbox. I just joke around with everybody calling it the devil's machine and how the PlayStation 4 is a holy machine. So it's just a joke.
Yeah, it's the whole Star Wars argument, and everybody likes to pick a side. Fanboys actually kind of get on my nerves because it's video games.
Oh yeah.
People love video games, so it's like you don't have to pick a side. You can enjoy games. So Just Ghost asked about what got us into gaming and how long ago did we start. I'll go first. I actually started playing video games when I lived in England back in the early 80s. And my parents got me a Commodore VIC-20. I programmed a ski game with an external tape cassette that hooked up to it, and I just enjoyed it. My parents had their Atari system, and I've just enjoyed video games ever since. I played on the NES, so I enjoyed Legend of Zelda. I enjoyed Zelda 2. I enjoyed the original Ninja Gaiden series, Streets of Rage on the Genesis. I've played a lot of games throughout life, and the thing that I like more than anything now is the connections that can be made. I met one of my best co-op buddies randomly on a Quake server when I was at college my freshman year. We started killing each other back and forth, and we're like, hey, you're kind of cool. Hey, you're kind of cool. Where are you? Oh, I go to college. Oh, I go to that same college. Really? What dorm are you in? Oh, that's 3 buildings away from me. So we actually met up in person from a virtual server, and then we've been friends since. And now I actually play games online with his son, who is 13, and my son, who is 16. And we've done just dad gaming moments, and we have to remind the kids, hey, son, you need to be respectful now. But I just enjoy the connections that can be had. So that's kind of what got me into it and what kept me going. The neighborhood Tecmo Bowl tournaments on the NES.
Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, Montana football, just stuff like that.
So I got started on the Super Nintendo. And it was actually my dad's. And the first game I played on there was Super Mario Brothers. Then it quickly led to Mortal Kombat 1 and then 2, and then I got the first PlayStation. And the original PlayStation controller had no analog sticks. So that's how long ago I started. I just loved it. And then first person shooters, me and Die Hard, which is my cousin, technically grew up playing games together, and that's why we are probably inseparable when it comes to, if we can get together, we're getting together and playing games. So that was wow.
I wanted the original PlayStation when it first came out, but I just couldn't spend it. I worked at Electronics Boutique, so it was really dangerous. Because I remember Battle Arena Toshinden. I wanted to buy the game, and it wasn't even that great, but I really wanted that game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I got that when I was. So I graduated in 2011, and I was.
Thanks for making me feel old. I appreciate that.
2006. Not 2006. I was second grade, whenever that was. In fact, that was that long ago. That's all I know. It probably wasn't that long for you, obviously.
No, I'm the young guy.
Yeah.
I graduated high school in '96, so I got a couple of years on you.
It was like 16.
All right. Well, let's see. Are there any other questions? I'm going to give just another moment or so because my wife is eager to hang out with me and watch Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Is that what you guys been watching?
Yeah, we finished up watching Eureka, which is a great show. We kind of sped through 5 seasons.
I was gonna say that's an old show.
But it was so good. We really liked Warehouse 13.
Oh, okay.
And now we're on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No,
we're caught up except for the recent season.
I'm going back through the It's Always Sunny. But
nice.
That's a very inappropriate kind of show. So,
well, I think we've talked a whole bunch, and I don't think there are any more questions. So again, I'm going to say that if anybody has any questions for us, they can email them to gamingdadnews@gmail.com. They can tag us on Twitter at twitter.com/ Gaming Dad News. They can follow us on Twitch, which they are already here. We're already up to 23 followers. Thank you so much for everybody that followed us tonight or even before the stream actually happens. That's so awesome. Thank you for... We've been sitting above 10 viewers this whole time.
Which is
It's
incredible.
Been an awesome experience. I'm so thankful for the support that you guys have given us. We're just two gaming dads talking about gaming stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, thank you so much. We had a lot of fun. We were both extremely nervous leading up to this. I was like, how is this going to go? How's it going to be received? So we really do appreciate all of you coming out. You were all awesome. Make sure you continue to follow us, and we'd appreciate if you left the bell on, so whenever you see us go live, you can come join us. You can find him at Rumble19_ on Twitch whenever he's streaming. You can find me at Yoda Kicks. And on that, do you have anything else you want to say, Eric?
No, I mean, we got everything under, everything we needed to say said, and I had a blast, and thanks for everybody that came through and stayed and putting the word out there. And like I said, like Yoda said, we'll have this out on podcast platforms hopefully by tomorrow.
But we have to. Well, we're not affiliated, so you don't have to wait 24 hours. So you can put it out as soon as you're able to.
Yep.
I'm going to do a quick reading on Just Ghost's request. I'm going to read just a card from inside my Exploding Kittens Party Edition. See, here we go. I'm going to read this to everybody. Dance Party. Every time you open your box, you should hear music. The music is triggered via a light sensor embedded on the inside of the lid. Make sure you're opening the box in a well-lit room so that there's enough light to trigger the music. If you have any trouble getting the music to play, head to explodingkittens.com/fancybox and we'll get you sorted out. That's been Readings with Yoda Kicks.
Perfect.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. I hope you all have an awesome rest of your Sunday.
Bye.